Well, hello, everyone. I'm Paula, and welcome to Off the Clock. This is the show where job titles take a break and real conversations take the spotlight. No labels, no LinkedIn perfect answers, just honest conversations. A quick thing before we get started, if you enjoy real conversations like this one, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, Off Script with Paula. Give this video a like, share it with someone you think you should be watching it with you. This will help me reach to more people, and I really appreciate. And if you're joining us live, please say hello in the chat. We love interactions. This is the magic of a live show, so don't be shy. Just say hello. And in case you're hearing some noise, it is not a sound effect that I planned for the show. Unfortunately, it is my neighbor that decided to renovate his apartment, so I apologize in advance. But let's get to today's show. So today's guest has been on quite a journey through the world of hospitality recruitment, helping companies find the right people, or you may say the precious people, along the way. So Thomas Finn is not only right at the center of the UK hospitality scene, but also a familiar voice behind the mic, hosting his own podcast. He interviewed a lot of people, shaping conversations across the industry. He joins me today to talk about what really happens behind the scenes. So help me welcome to the stage Tone. Wait a minute, Tone. I'm putting you. Hey.
Hey, hey, Paula. Thank you so much for having me.
Wait. This is the sound effect. I'm having so much fun with the sound effect, Tone. You have no idea. But for me, I'm still a struggle. I don't know how you do your podcasts or stuff, but since I'm alone,
Yeah,
it's a bit of a struggle to control
yeah,
everything and still.
yeah.
But anyway,
See,
uh,
I'm not as brave as you. So mine are recorded and then we post them. I'm not as brave
uh,
as you to go live. This is terrifying.
you know what? It always scares me a lot, and I have to say, every show so far off the clock episode, every episode has happened something that was not planned. Like today is the
Yeah,
neighbor. And last time was with Calvin Tiloki. I don't know if you know him from US.
yeah.
My
No
audio
carbon.
completely died in the middle of it, and I did not know. So it was hard. Was became a meme. So you have to have fun with it. I mean,
I
what
think
can you
so.
do?
It's off the clock, so who cares?
Exactly. So Tom, I do have some questions prepared for you.
Yeah,
So let's see how long we actually stick to them. I'm already
yeah,
off script, but let's get this started. So as I mentioned, you work in hospitality recruitment. So you
yeah.
speak to candidates, I don't know if every day, but often for sure,
Very
frequently.
every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's one thing, Tom, that people think makes them impressive, but
hmm
actually doesn't?
Wow, that's a good question. And just for anyone that doesn't know, I've not been sent any questions, so these are all coming at me completely live.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do candidates think is impressive about
Yeah.
them, but actually isn't? Okay, let's have a think. Let's have a think. I'm obviously not going to name names or anything like that,
Yeah.
but
Of course. One thing that I thought, but right now, that at least in Brazil, it's a thing actually. To say that you're perfectionist and a lot of these things like every that you expect.
yeah,
I
I
don't know that people expect to hear.
yeah. So there is a cut. There's actually one that immediately sprung to mind.
Mhm.
And it's a lot more of a European market thing, to be honest, rather than a UK market thing. But I see it quite a bit, and it can be adding a photo to your CV. So, and the reason this is kind of an interesting one is because a lot of people believe that if they attach a photo to a CV, it almost gives the impression that I'm super professional. Look how smart I look, or whatever. And you wouldn't believe some of the photos that are on these CVs. Like they are clearly like cut out from a night out and this sort of thing. But one thing that we do get back sometimes, and it is sort of a delicate subject, is immediately a picture will influence a decision as to whether they even get the interview, because they'll either judge it by the image itself. Does it look professional? Does it look polished? Or is it a bit, excuse the language, but a bit half-assed? And also there could be a slight thing around ageism. So it could actually jeopardize your chances more than anything else. So I'd say a picture is actually an interesting one. As I say, it's a lot less of a thing in the UK market, something that I generally see in the wider European market. But that's a key one, I'd suppose.
Well, in Brazil too. We before it was no picture, and I don't know exactly now. I have to say, been a few years, but I know from my nephew, whatever. It is they put picture. It is a thing that it apparently it makes it personal. But I totally understand your point that can backfire, especially if you don't, because people have not a good like how you say that in English, like a sense, like what like.
Honestly, and in some cases, if it's not done right, if you double, this is something that a lot of people don't know. If it's not done correctly, if you double click on the photo, it gives you the full image. So if it is cropped from a night out, it can be quite risky. The other one that's just sprung to mind, and this is quite a funny one at times, is you'll get some candidates that put in like they were they won a certain cup back in their school days for football or rugby, or they were part of the chess club and they were a champion. Doesn't matter, guys. If that's 25 years ago, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not impressive. It just means that you were great at a sport in school. That's it. So yeah, that's the other one that's quite a funny one at times. Let's have some more relevant and recent achievements rather than something you did, as I say, 20 years ago. Just, it's real estate on a CV that doesn't need to be taken up. There you go.
I really liked both of your answers, Sam, for really the award one. It's quite funny because people, you try to impress, right? So then it's...
Of course. And you can't blame people sometimes for wanting to put everything in that they think is going to be relevant and put them in good stead. But I think sometimes it's that classic saying, sometimes less is more. That's all I'd say. Less is more.
Okay. Another question for you that maybe it's a little bit a hot spot. I don't know. Okay. I don't even know if you have an answer for that, but I will try anyway. What's the biggest lie candidates tell in the interviews that everyone pretends to believe? Kind of like the one that I think oh, I'm attentive to details, whatever. And then you're like, the TV is completely wrong. Something like that. Or one of the most serious, I don't know.
One of the most hilarious ones is languages. So some candidates will put down that they are slightly more advanced at a certain language, maybe than they quite are. And of course, that is easily detectable once you're in an interview environment, because they immediately will ask. So I'd say that's a really big one. And that is one of the worst ones that we see quite a lot. Is they'll say, maybe not they're quite fluent, but they'll say they're very good at a certain language, written and spoken. And then when it comes down to it, actually, they are far less equipped than they actually have said. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest ones, actually. And I've seen this on multiple occasions. Thankfully, most of the time, we are able to get the fact behind that before they're in that interview environment. But, that is one that is very common. Very common.
Yeah, that's a good one. It happens here too a lot, and especially in hospitality, like in hotels, like language is a thing. If you're gonna lie, it's like it's not. It is something that
don't go there, guys.
It will be required. Don't do it. Don't do it. I love that. Next one, it's more. I'm thinking now more. You talk about skills. I'm talking a little bit more behavior, right? Okay. So, in your experience, or for you, in your opinion, what's the fastest way a candidate can ruin their chances in the first 5 minutes when they are with you? Like, what is a big no-no?
Or with a candidate, with a client, sorry. So with a potential employer.
No, well, if you have, I was thinking about you because I thought it would be maybe easier. But if you know something with the client, whatever, I think people that are listening would appreciate the tip.
Okay. So the immediate one with a client. So if they're in an interview, the best way for them to, to ruin things from the get-go is the obvious ones like arriving late, arriving unprepared. I would say as well is a lot of cases people will really know their stuff. So an interview environment can be really stressful and anxiety driven. It really can be. And there's a lot of people out there that will struggle. But if you're properly prepared and you're going in with the best foot forward, you're always in that best position. So like it's the standard stuff, arriving on time. I would say if you're on time, you're late. If you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. That's my rule.
That's very British of you, Tom. I have to say, because Brazil, it's much more easygoing in terms of time. But okay, I understand. I'm joking.
Those are the first ones I'd say, right?
Yeah,
with me, I would say what would put me off working with a candidate. I tell you what, I would say overconfidence. I'm all for people being confident in their ability and confident in what they can deliver. I'm absolutely all about that. And I think because it's very difficult for people to be able to sing their own praises. That's notoriously a very difficult thing for people to do. Yeah. But I think someone who over eggs and really sort of makes it very clear that I am the best at what I do and this sort of thing, there is a real risk element to it. Goes from confidence, that sort of fine line from confidence to arrogance. And I think that is a really fine line to follow, either when we're talking to a recruiter or more specifically, because that will translate into an interview. If you're doing it with someone that is the middleman, you absolutely will be doing it within that interview, because you go into almost hyper focus mode of this is why I'm amazing, and it can really screw things up. So I would say that overconfident bordering on arrogance, that's the thing that can really put a recruiter off, and also a potential client for sure. Well, a potential employer, sorry.
Yeah. Craig here is hello. Craig is joining us, and he's saying absolutely. If you're on time, you are 15 minutes late. Well, Americans apparently think like you. Just Brazil. It's just a Brazilian thing.
Thanks, Craig.
and Tom, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to work in specifically hospitality recruitment? Like what? Or how it started?
Okay, so I started my recruitment sort of career, I suppose, and really cut my teeth and learn my craft within financial and wealth management recruitment. So working with sort of private banks and financial planning firms and so on and so forth. I then moved over to an agency who specialized in finance recruitment, revenue management, and sort of office administration type recruitment. And that's where I learnt about revenue management. I'd never heard of revenue management before, to be totally honest. But I was already dealing within a very niche market within the wealth management side of things. And it seemed like a great opportunity to learn something brand new, get involved in something that still was quite an emerging market. And something that was really exciting. So I spent, I think it was just over 3 years, or maybe around 3 years. And then I was approached by a number of people in the industry to say, look, basically we associate you with you. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? And honestly, Paula, if you saw me back in the day, owning a business was never, ever, ever on the cards for someone like me. It just wasn't. And I don't mean that in a way where I've come from a very underprivileged background or anything like that. It was just never an option on the table. Okay. And it took a lot of support, and the industry has massively got behind me and the business, and they have supported every step of the way. And I've always been very humble and thankful for that. So hospitality became a big part of who I was, and recruitment was something that was just in my blood. I just found my thing. I get super, super excited when there's a new job coming in, and it's a hunt, it's a game, it's something that you have to win. And that's something that I've always sort of taken through. So every time I get a job, anyone that knows me, I get super excited, like giddy almost, especially if we get the exclusivity and we're putting the branding all over it, because we're not afraid to put something that's very unusual for a recruitment brand to do, a recruitment company to do, is to put the logos of the clients, because they have a reasonable amount of anxiety and worry about another recruiter approaching that client. Mm-hmm. The reason we don't do that is because we have complete trust in our clients. If they go with us exclusively, that's it. We're their partner. So if they have other agencies contact them, we have not got a worry in the world. So we're proud of putting those brands on there. And that comes from strong relationships that I've built over the last about 8-9 years now. And it's one of those where I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. And as I say, owning a business, for me, for anyone that doesn't know, I was a dad at 17. Unexpected, obviously. And it was just a graft. It was a graft. And I've come from, both my parents have always owned their own businesses. They've driven themselves throughout their careers, and I think I took a lot of influence from that. So I know I was supposed to keep this short, and I didn't mean to go so deep with that, but starting a business and starting Edwards and Finn it wasn't even a dream, and now it's something that is become such a massive part of who I am, and the industry have embraced me. They've taken care of me, and I am so incredibly grateful.
Yeah, even from Brazil, I honestly can feel the support that you have. Like I never been there, but I know 100% that people like you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I know that. Yeah. And I think now I understand a little bit more why you like so much Lord of the Rings and adventure, because like you're a hobbit, you're doing something else, and then you have, and then now you're your own business, which I will now compare to going to the quest. Like, you found your ring, your precious, your what makes
I'd say
you.
so. Yeah, I'd say so.
That's really, really good. And now, so you've been doing this. Okay, so Craig is saying a lot. Thank you, Craig, for all the interactions. Great answers, Tom.
Really appreciate it.
For the support. Yeah. So you specialize, I don't know if this is the right word, but commercial roles, recruitment for commercial roles, things like that. But you are a person that you go to events and all that. What is the role that is the hardest to hire in the UK right now, do you think?
Hardest role to hire. Okay. So the hardest roles right now are roles where you have to be in the office 5 days a week. Some people, the immediate assumption is the higher level you go, the more complex and the harder that it is. In the market that we find ourselves in now, I would say that actually the moment I post a senior level job, I only did it recently, and within 24 hours, I think we had over 25 people contact us, which again, it doesn't sound like that much, but then when the next day you're getting another 10 and the next day you're getting another 5 and so on, your sort of reach your response is incredibly quick. But with regards to any role that is 5 days in the office or 5 days on property, you're immediately cutting off maybe 70% of the talent. And it's a difficult sell. Some people love being on property. If you've ever worked in a hotel, I have. I've worked in conference services for a regional beautiful property called Latimer Place, part of the De Vere Group. There is nothing quite like being on property, part of that team. The camaraderie, the family feel, and when it's all hands on deck, you don't have a choice. If anyone's listening, if you've ever had a walkie-talkie situation where you're on property and the call goes out on the walkie-talkie, everyone hands on deck, we've got a bus full of people coming, we need bags in rooms and so on. That for some people is heaven. They love that environment. But with regard to the post-pandemic market, we're still seeing people wanting either remote roles, they are the hands down easiest roles to fill, or hybrid. And
Mhm.
I'd say the 3 days in the office, 2 days from home, even that proves to be difficult sometimes. But 2 days in the
Well,
office and 3 days from home, you're in a really good place. But I think any role that is requiring the person to be in the office 5 days a week without paying a slight premium on the package,
yeah.
they're on the back foot straight away.
Interesting. Yeah, here in Brazil, it's not talking about specifically hospitality, but all companies return to the office almost 100%.
Yeah.
They kind of don't believe anymore in the work remotely philosophy.
It's not translated just yet to the UK market, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, here, Chris Allen from YouTube. Hello,
Oh,
Chris. Thanks for
Chris.
joining us. Ton is
I
absolute
love you,
legend.
Chris.
I
I love you, Chris.
totally
Chris,
agree with you.
Chris is someone that I met through an interview that I actually did with someone else. It was Rita, I believe. And he and I became very good friends. Chris is an amazing person in the D&I space. So if anyone's looking for consultancy within that space, contact Chris because he is unbelievable and he's such a great guy. There you go, Chris.
Nice. So we're already heading to the end of the show, but I want to at least I want to touch in what the part of you have a podcast. So at least I want to make one question about it. And one, it's very basic, but it's based on my curiosity, so I don't care. So
Sure.
what made you start the podcast in the first place, Tom? Was it curiosity, necessity, or you're bored? I don't know. What was it that
Okay, so my background is in photography, media, content creation, that sort of thing, and I hadn't seen a platform that sort of gave the commercial world of hospitality a voice. And arguably, it was mainly within the revenue management space when it first began. And I wanted to be first to market with a channel like that. And it was terrifying, to be totally honest with you. The first episode that I recorded at Hotel Cafe Royal in November of 2019 with Robin Stangroom, who's now the CEO of the Set Collection or the Set, and then Jane Pendlebury, who is CEO of Hospa. And it took me 18 goes at just doing the intro, and it was terrifying. And I remember the day when I first posted the first video in early 2020, and I thought, if this doesn't land right, that's it. I'm cooked. I'm toast. Because I thought the industry is going to see this, and if they don't like it, or if they think it's a bit corny or whatever, it's just going to land like a ton of bricks. It's not going to work. So it was a real punt. It was also before the sort of mass podcast and online stuff that came with COVID, because obviously everyone started a podcast during COVID because there was nothing else for people to do. So that it was giving the industry a platform that would allow them to speak and be heard. And we were able to touch on loads of different, well, we have been able to touch on loads of different topics, subjects, challenges, and built a community out of that. So it's one of those, and again, it's transformed over time. So within my channel, there are industry interviews, very much like platforms like this. But then we also take people with us to events that we go to. So it's become quite a funny thing. If you're ever at an event in the UK, you will generally see either a cameraman or a team of people following me everywhere. And there is this, no doubt, this essence of, who's this big-headed idiot? He thinks he's all this because he's got a camera crew with him.
celebrity, Tom? Celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But honestly, it's to give people who are not able to get to these types of events an insight into them. And we always talk to people at the event. We always try and bring that back to our audience. So that's one area, and obviously the interviews are another area. We started the Hot Wings videos. So those Hot Wings videos have become a bit of a cult thing now. That I never expected them to go as crazy as they did. But that all came from, again, COVID, when the industry was under so much pressure and it was in a very depressed state for obvious reasons. But I created that to bring a bit of comic relief and a bit of a shout out if he does watch this. But it was Rob Patterson, who was CEO of Best Western Hotels at the time. And I remember texting Rob just saying, look, mate, would you be up for doing something a bit silly? And good old Rob was like, absolutely. What is it? And I said, right, well, it's 7 hot wings and 7 questions, and they get hotter every time. And at the end of it, you got to nominate the next person to do it. And what, like 5 years on, six years on, we're still doing them. We've done them live in front of big audiences at events. But the only way you can do it is you have to be nominated. So there's a long list of people that are dying to do it. But that's the
but
rule.
You don't open any exceptions. Yeah, I'm kind of happy that I'm not nominated, because I honestly I cannot eat anything like too spicy. I would die the second one. I would like, okay,
well, if you watch any of the episodes, I'm rubbish for spice as well. My face goes red, my nose runs, I get eyes are running, everything. So yeah, it's not sort of put on. These sauces are seriously hot. So yeah, I suppose the reason for it was because there was a very clear purpose, but it also allowed me to have fun in an industry that I really love and care about, and it gave a platform for me to be able to meet some incredibly interesting people. You've been on the channel, and it's allowed me to open my eyes and ears and continuously learn. I mean, I just had an episode go out last week with a gentleman called Harry Fielder, who's the CEO of Umi Digital. And
Harry's a great guy.
I love
he was in a webinar that I did with him. It was him and more 2 people. We were talking backstage about things that happen out of control when do live shows like this.
Yes.
My power died, so I disappeared. So they have to continue. The guests had to continue without me. So thank you, Harry. I will never forget. Okay, sorry.
Honestly,
back to you.
Harry. No. Harry's amazing, and I've said this a million times before. But the thing I love about Harry is he is an incredibly intellectual guy that understands complex subjects incredibly well, and more importantly, he's able to communicate things that are complex to people like me that are not in that same wavelength, but I can still understand it. And I appreciate that so much. So having people like that on the show, as I say, it's a big learning for me, because I'm continuously finding out new things and sort of getting involved in certain aspects of the industry that I may never have touched on before. So yeah, big shout out to Harry. But yeah, I suppose that's the reason. And again, we're 7 years on, over 400 subscribers, over 30,000 views just on YouTube. So yeah, we're growing. We're growing slowly, humbly, but I love what ENF TV's become.
Yeah. What is the name of the channel, just so people know again? Because I'm gonna say wrong.
It's ENF TV, and that stands for basically Edwards and Finn TV. So yeah, ENF TV. You can find us on YouTube. We also post on TikTok, and we also post clips on LinkedIn and Instagram as well.
Craig is saying here, I like showing up to an event with a camera person and getting interviews. Craig is also had a podcast, great one. Click.
Oh, great! I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out. I think you should too. Should interview each other. I don't know. Should do something together.
Craig, contact me. Great. Would love to talk.
Yeah, he's really, really great. And he's also saying here, hospitality is the best part of commercial real estate. I'm sorry, because I'm blind. Yeah. Real estate globally, and we have the best people for sure. And I agree with you. I really agree with you, Tom, because one of the reasons, to be honest, that I do these interviews, even when I work with companies that I do also webinars and stuff, it's one way that I learn a lot about all the things that I would not learn otherwise. And meeting people, I mean, people like you, Craig, and I mean, the list is long. So even if it's only online, because unfortunately I live very, very far, But I still feel like I know you guys. So
Yeah, you're part of the
just say
community. You're part of the family.
thank you. So yeah, my next question is, Tom, since we're talking about podcasting,
Yeah.
what's your biggest fear as a host? Awkward
Mm.
silence, bad Wi-Fi, or boring guest? You can be honest.
Right. Awkward silence.
Yeah,
I really
and I'm
do,
the
because
same.
bad Wi-Fi, you can't do anything about bad Wi-Fi. It is what it is. The boring guest, you can always find an angle to keep things interesting. Because I think boring guests it can be a reflection of your hosting. So, but I think those awkward silences, again, it can be an impact of your hosting. But I think if you've got, I'm not some, and you know this by now, and anyone that appears on my show knows this by now. I am the least professional person when it comes to the format of the interview. I will provide sort of a structure, but it is completely unscripted because I believe in having natural conversations, just like this one. And I think the awkward silences will come if you don't have a structure and you don't have a focus for that episode. It doesn't matter where it goes, but I think that awkward silence thing can be so terrifying.
Yeah, I hate the awkward start because I start to get nervous and then I want to talk and then I talk too much. Then it's like
Yeah,
it goes, you know, it just become a disaster.
yeah.
Tom, as I said, we are heading to the really heading. I'm saying this for 5-10 minutes now. We are heading
You
to the
just keep on
final,
going. I'm
but
good. I'm good.
yeah, yeah. But I do have this segment which is called "Would You Rather." So this is
Okay.
the moment no
Oh
hospitality
God.
leader escapes. Okay, Tom.
Okay.
So let me put you just wait. My producer skills here sucks. Just let me put the video. Wait.
All right.
So it's basically, and everybody, anyone that is new here, it's
Yeah.
basically I will give you two situations, and you're gonna choose which one do you prefer.
Okay.
And it's kind of dilemma kind of thing.
Okay.
The thing is, Tom, you cannot think like please.
Oh
Don't stay like
God.
5 minutes thinking. No, seriously, just
All right.
say what it is, and you don't need to justify it either. If you don't want to justify
Okay.
your option,
Yeah.
your answer, that's fine. So let's start this. Are you ready?
Oh God.
Okay.
Go on then. Go
So
on.
no, it's not that bad. Come on. So Tom, would you rather be ghosted by a client after weeks of work or be ghosted by a candidate right before signing?
Ghosted by a candidate. That is the
Okay.
worst, especially at the end.
Yeah, I can imagine like the frustration must be.
Oh, it's
And then you have
unbelievable.
to explain to the client. Yeah, I don't know.
Correct.
Now,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
horrible.
Next one. Would you rather hire someone amazing with a terrible attitude or someone average who's great to work with?
Second one, for sure. For sure. Hands down.
Yeah. Skills you can learn, but attitude is harder for sure.
Yeah.
Next one, Tom. Would you rather work with a client who never listens or a candidate who thinks they know everything? I think you already answered that one, by the way. You said something
Yeah.
about, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I work with clients that have a habit of doing the whole not listening thing, but I would definitely say a candidate who thinks they know everything, because again, it never goes down well. So they're very rarely ever going to get their foot in the door. So yeah, I'd go with the second one.
Nice. Next one, Tom. It's almost over. Would you rather tell a client they are the problem or tell a candidate they are not as good as they think? Again, it's the same theme there. People that
I'd go
think
with the
they're
first one because I've done it.
oh
Yeah. So I've done the first one at least 3 times, and they were very big clients. So yeah, I'm not afraid of saying no. So yeah, I'd say the first one.
nice. I just had Bruce Jordan. He's a consultant in the United States, and he
Yeah.
also he talked about saying no to potential clients. Like if
Yep.
in his case was like the client was not listening, and he's giving this new idea. So it's like, okay, so I'm not the person for you. Continue with your team, and when you're broke, then you call me, because like basically it was like that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Last one, Tom. You're surviving. Would you rather have an amazing conversation that no one listens in your podcast, or an average one that goes viral?
First one every time. I don't care about going viral at all. If it's a great conversation that I'm really enjoying and getting into, I don't care if there's 2 people watching. I think the whole chasing the viral thing can be so toxic, and it can damage a lot of people. So I think the first one, absolutely, that's the one I'd go with.
Nice. So you survived. Would you rather? Thanks for playing alone. And before, well, it's much better than spicy food. Come on, I'm being nice.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, Tom, I have to ask the question that gives the show its name. So we've heard about recruitment, hiring, podcasts, but what's your version of switching off? What do you like to do just for you off the clock?
Okay, so I am a huge lover of cooking. So my favorite thing is, once I'm all done, preparing a meal for my family. So the whole process of putting a bit of music on, cooking and actually presenting it nicely and all the rest of it, and watching them enjoy it is something that I love. Like, it really is therapeutic. If I'm looking to just chill out, it's always going to be a movie. I'm a massive movie buff, as obviously your not title, but your thumbnail and everything else described. I am a huge geek and a huge fan for anything Tolkien. So Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Rings of Power, anything in that space, that fantasy space, I'm a huge fan of, and I do not care about admitting it. And you know what? One other thing, and this is going to be super embarrassing for a lot of people to see, but I don't really care anymore, is I have a group of mates and they're like old school friends and all the rest of it, but I live about 230 miles away from my family and my friends down south, because I moved up north. And a way for my friends and I to really connect, we jump on an online game, and we talk and we laugh and we catch up over shooting a load of bad guys. And that has become something, again, that it's not actually about the game. So there's a lot of people out there, or guys maybe specifically from my side, that might understand this, but it's not about the game. It's more about the connection and being able to catch up with a bunch of you guys and be able to laugh and take the mick out of each other and just go all out. And then that's almost my sort of way of catching up with people that I generally don't get to, because I'm just super, super busy pretty much all the time. So I'd say cooking for my family, watching movies is always a therapeutic thing for me, where I can just click off. And then gaming with my buddies. And again, that's probably like the worst thing I could say in this professional environment, but I don't care.
No, I don't think it's embarrassing at all. I really like the idea of I don't like it. I don't play online games, to be honest. I'm still in the 80s. I am a 80 girl, so I like the, how you call it in English.
I'm 89. So yeah.
the board games. I like
I love board
these
games.
ones, and cards too. I'm old. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, all right. What's a card game for you that you love?
Oh God, the thing is to say in English, which I don't know. Buraco. What's the name of that? Canastra, maybe.
Canastra.
Do you know that one? You have 7 cards, and then you have some cards, and then you have to make like oh God, make like 1, 2, 3, 4, or games, like small games.
Okay, I kind of see what you mean. So you have to make basically runs or patterns with the cards. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and then if you don't have, you have to you keep buying.
Pick up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
pick
All
up.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bye.
Fair. Fair.
I'm saying everything like it that's coming in Portuguese that is not working. Anyway, I have to learn how to explain cards in English. That's not in my vocabulary apparently. But Tom, this was a great. Like seriously, this was great. That's a wrap up of the clock. I really really appreciate you took the time to come and
No, my
that you
pleasure.
share so much and you were being as always honest and open. So thank you so much for being our guest.
No, I want to say a massive thank you to you, Paula. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on your show. As I said to you off camera, I was looking back at the other people that you've had on, and I just feel super privileged to be able to be part of that powerhouse of a lineup. Because
Oh,
honestly, it's fantastic to be on this show and to have this conversation. So, a massive thank you to you, and you're doing a fantastic job. And I can't wait to see the rest of them.
thank you. Craig is saying here, great show, Paul and Tom. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you,
Craig was
Craig.
actually the first one. He was he had to deal with like the first one. I'm so sorry, Craig, for
I'll go back
everything
and
that
watch it.
went.
I'll go back and watch it. And
Yeah,
Craig,
he
I'd
was
love to have
very
you on the show if you're up for it.
and a blackjack. I like to blackjack, but we don't have casinos here, Craig. It's illegal, so it's kind of a
Oh yeah,
thing
good
here.
point.
Like, yeah, so I cannot. But anyway, otherwise I'm gonna be here for 1 hour. More. Uh, thank you all so much for watching and for being in the chat, for supporting the show. I really, really appreciate it. If you enjoy it, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I know it's annoying, but I have to repeat it. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. It really helps me to keep this conversation going, to reach more people. And that's it for today, everybody. This was Off the Clock, where job titles take a break and real conversations to the spotlight. Bye bye.